Good everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. So today I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic. It's around sending a custom notification. You can do custom notification without Apex. You can use Process Builder, but today I'm going to display using Apex because this is an Apex course, right? So it makes sense to do using Apex. So the first thing first, you need to register for an org if you haven't done so. I've already logged into my org. Okay, so let's jump into developer console. The way to go to developer console, right, is go to the gear cog icon on the top right hand corner and go to the developer console and takes you here. Okay, so in winter 21, Salesforce has launched something called the custom notification. So we will be avoiding making HTTP callouts to the APIs from Apex to create custom notification. That's what's happened in the past. So this is a pretty straightforward what I'm going to demonstrate, and it's very handy as well. So why do we need a custom notification, right? So think about a scenario, right? Let's say I'm going to create a simple scenario and I will display and I will demonstrate why we need it. Okay, so a contact creation. Okay, so I'll be creating a contact. Okay, so when the contact is created, I would like this to be notified. Okay, uh, you know, so for now we're going to use the same user. So I would like to be notified, and like as a task, as a notification task, right? Uh, Saying that okay, the contact has been created. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do today, and I will demonstrate it how to do that using Apex. Okay, because at times you might want to use this using an Apex. Say, think about an integration scenario, right, where you are creating a um, contact or an account or a custom object or whatever, right? Or payment object or anything to do with, you know, a creation of an object or updation or deletion, whatever, right? So, and you would like to push a notification, okay? So I'm not saying this is the perfect solution, but I'm just saying this is one of the options you can use, okay, based on your business requirement, right? So I'm just showing you an option which has been released in Winter 21, and I think it's very handy because if you have taken platform Dev 1 um, maintenance exam, right, you will know a lot of features they've released, which is pretty cool. And I really like the stuff they've released this time. So this is one of them. Okay. So the first thing, what we're going to do, we're going to create a custom notification type. Okay. Before we do any sort of coding. So the way to do that, go to your org. Okay. Go to the setup here, and under setup, type notification. Okay, it's taking its time. Custom notification. Okay, so we go to custom notification here, and go to new. So this is pretty straightforward. Okay, as you can see, you don't have much fancy option here. So I'm gonna say contact notification. I mean, give a meaningful name. It's always good to give a meaningful name. Okay, don't give contact notification. But for the sake of this demo, since we are dealing with contact, right? So that's the reason why I wanted to give a contact notify. Okay, that's pretty much what I wanted to give. And these API names are is important because this is the one which we will be querying in our code. Okay, so do you want to support desktop or mobile? If you're using a mobile, right? Obviously, most of the Lightning is a mobile ready, right? So it makes sense to take mobile and desktop. Okay, so that's pretty much on the custom notification type creation, right? Pretty straightforward, nothing fancy here. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the developer console here. Okay, and we're gonna go to this debug execute anonymous window. I'm not going to take a pain of creating a class because you can do pretty much, using um, this anonymous window, right? So the first thing first, what we're gonna do, so we will create a contact. Okay, so that's our main requirement. So we're going to do contact c equals to new contact. Okay, and we're going to do say we say c dot last name equals to notify contact. Okay, just a dummy stupid name. Okay, don't worry about this. The last name. I don't think anyone will have a last name like this, but you never know, right? Because Elon Musk has started the trend with machine names to the kids, but so who knows? you will have you will have a last name like XYZ or alpha to the power 10. All right, sorry I digress. All right, so I'm gonna insert it. Okay, so I'm not, or you can do database.insert. Okay, which is pretty handy, and I'm going to stick to the default option. Okay. All right. Now the real code. Okay. So the way to do the custom notification. Okay. Pay attention. So we're gonna do um, messaging dot. See, messaging. Right. It has a type custom notification. Okay. And then I say notify. Right. Equals to new as usual, because you have to create an object. Right. So just messaging dot custom notification. Okay, pretty straightforward, nothing fancy here. So we're gonna do notify dot. Now we have to set a title. Set title. Okay, we say contact. Come on. Okay, contact creation. Okay, and we're gonna say notify dot set set body. Okay. Oh, come on. Set body. Right. So we're gonna say notify contact creation. Okay, just a dummy body, right? Because I'm just setting this name, notify contact creation. I mean, you can put the meaningful name based on your requirement, but the purpose of today's demo is just to demonstrate how this works, right? Okay, so now we will have to do something interesting here. That is, we need to set a type ID. Okay, so what we're gonna do? So we will first set the notify dot we're gonna do send notification type ID. Yeah, I think this is correct. We're going to do select ID from custom notification type. Hopefully this exists. Custom notification type where developer name equals to let's go back here. Right, and we're just gonna need this contact notify. I'll explain in a second what I'm doing. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, I was gonna do the ID. Okay, and I'm gonna do notify dot set target ID. Okay, so the target ID where you wanted this to be displayed, so I'm gonna c.id. Okay, and then I'm gonna do notify dot send. So here what we're gonna do, set I'm just gonna do new set. Okay, I'm gonna do string. So hopefully user info dot get ID, get user ID. Hopefully this should do the job, right? So what we've done, let me run this. Okay, so that's done. Okay, let me go back to here. Here you go. Notify contact creation. Okay. All right, just give me a second. Let me go back to the code and explain to you what I've done. Okay. So the requirement is pretty straightforward. Okay. So look at line number 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So you must be comfortable with these 3 things. Okay. I've talked about it in my last 2 episodes when I talked about database operation. Okay, so if you haven't watched it, I would highly encourage you to check it out, because it's very important you understand how the database operation works, okay, in Apex before you deal with the custom notification in because this I wanted to make this as a continuation of this. That's why I'm doing it today. So I'm creating a pretty straightforward thing. Okay, I'm creating a contact object here. Okay, of variable C because this is a data type and a subject type. Then it's a variable C, and then C dot last name because in a contact the last name is mandatory, right? So I'm assigning a notified contact, which is funny fictitious name to last name, and I'm doing a database.insert, right? If you remember database.insert, so you can do two things. Okay, if you wanted to do partial commit, so you have to do something called false. Okay, that means if you have 50 records, right? If one of them fails, so it will insert 40. Okay, so right now, just to make it simple, I did database.insert, and I'm going to stick with the default value, which means it will either commit or it will fail. Okay, there's no partial commit in this case. Okay, so now the real stuff comes in the picture. Okay, so this is I wanted to create a notify object. Okay, so this is the data type messaging.custom notification. Okay, so I'm creating a notify of type messaging.custom notification. Okay, and this is if you look at line number 5. Okay, if you look at the line number 5 and compare with line number 1, it's pretty much similar. In this case, the C is a variable. Okay, and notify is a variable. Okay, of type message or custom notification. In this case, C is of type contact. Okay, so this is pretty much if you wanted to create an object, okay, in Apex, you need to assign a memory. That's exactly what we're doing here. We are assigning a memory, okay, using new. That's all it is. There's nothing fancy here, okay. And then set title. These are the methods, right? You remember we talked about classes, right? I would like to talk about um, in detail about the static methods in the next episode. But these are the methods of a class. Remember, I talked about car class. If you watch my objects and classes episode, where we have a class, then we have a methods, right? Like an action, right? Set title is an action. So this is an action, okay, which belongs to this class, okay. Messaging to a custom notification, right? So in that class we have different methods, right? Set title, set body, set notification type ID, set target ID, and send. Okay, so these are the methods which we are actually using. These are inbuilt methods, not something I've created. These are given to us by Salesforce. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm using these methods. The first thing is pretty obvious, right? Setting a title. You're setting a title of the notification, right? So let's go back to the notification a second here. So setting a title, okay, contact creation. See, as you can see, this is a notification. The contact creation. So we are setting a title called contact creation. Okay, you can put whatever name you want. And set body. This is a body. Okay, so this is the body of a method. Okay, which is displayed here. Okay, so you said notify contact creation. This is the body. You can put something else you want. Okay, just for demo purpose, I just kept it simple. Um, and then we have notification type ID because this is where if you remember, I've manually created a custom notification type, right? Where I said I wanted to create contact notify, where I went to setup and custom notification, click, and then I pressed new, and then created this option, right? So we want to assign that ID, okay, of that created record to this set notification type ID, okay? So the way to do it, I've used very simple SQL query. So all I'm doing is I'm getting that IDs, okay? So I'm doing select ID from custom notification type, which is an object which stores this information, okay, of whatever you did there in the past on the setup, right? And we are accessing this information using a developer name. In other words, it's an API name, okay? And I'm assigning the ID to it, okay? You can do this SQL, or you can even simplify this line of a code, okay. If you find it very confusing, okay, you can do something like this, okay. So what do? You do custom notification type, okay. I wanted to make it very simple. If you find it very confusing here, so you say CT type, you put whatever name you want, and just copy this code here, okay. Right, you do this here, okay, and you do ct.id. So it pretty much means the same. Okay, it makes no difference. All right, and now set the target ID. Okay, so the target ID is like when you create a notification. Okay, so that notification is created in this case. Okay, in this case, this notification is created. Now, what should happen when you click on this one? Okay, when you click on this one, it should take you to the contact record, right? So when I click here, okay, it it will take you to this contact record which is created. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm doing by setting a target ID. So the target ID will be the ID of a newly contact created. Okay, so in this scenario, right? And then I'm sending, to the current user notification. You have to send, right? Because you have to push the notification out. Okay, so you're getting the user info. I'm getting a current user ID, so it's displaying to my current user. That's pretty much the code it is, right? You can do this using process builder. I can demonstrate to you next time how to do this using a process builder if you don't want to use a code. But at times you might have to use a code because if you're doing integration, right? Other stuff. I mean, in my opinion, if you can minimize the use of a code, it's the best thing to do. Okay, but at times you might have to use a code. So I'm demonstrating this using how to do using Apex. Okay, because this is an Apex session, right? So this is very powerful option, and I really like this feature. And because I don't have to use Apex, the call out. So that's one of the advantage of it. And this is latest one, right? That's Windows 21, right? So because HTTP callout, it's not really handy. If you keep on doing HTTP callout, it will hit the DML limits, right? So that's one of the thing. Apex limits. So that's one of the thing I wanted to say that this is a great option, and Salesforce did a pretty good job releasing this feature. I really like it. And apart from this, there are other options as well. So I mean, if you are someone um, who is planning to take Platform Dev 1, I would highly encourage you to check it out. Maintenance exam as well, okay? Because there are pretty good options there. Right, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. Right, if you have any questions, as usual, any doubts, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Right, put your comments in the description below. Oh, sorry, put your questions in the comments below. Sorry, it's been a long day. So if you have any questions, as usual, I will reply. Okay. So one thing I wanted to say that I trust you guys are doing hands-on. Okay, because this is one thing I really want to insist that please just do not watch my videos. It's not going to help. You need to do hands-on. It's very important, right? Because programming is not a a game which you play by looking at it, right? You need to take part in it and get your hands dirty, right? That's how you learn programming, right? You can't learn programming by looking at someone else doing the stuff, right? That's great. I mean, that will get you started, but you need to work on it as well, right? So I trust you doing hands-on. If not, I would highly encourage you to please do so, right? Because it's very important for you to understand. If you wanted to be a great developer, because to think about it, Salesforce, is a platform where you might have to code at times, right? Not always, at times. And even if you are not going to code, it's good to understand someone else's code, right? To get to the point, if there's a bug, you can, point out to the developer, hey, I think this is a line of code which I think is causing this issue, right? So you should be in a position to, fairly understand the code and, even make a recommendation or suggestion, right? That's the reason why I started this course. I'm not expecting you to be a great developer by just watching this video. That's not going to happen, right? Let get this straight, right? It won't happen, right? This course is not about hero to zero, right? Those people who promise that, they're just making a fool out of people, right? If you haven't programmed in your life before, you can never be a hero just by watching a video, a tutorial, a 50 video series. That's not going to happen. It comes with experience, right? I mean, you have to practice. You have to, fail at times to understand the pitfalls. There are certain times where where you get frustrated and thinking what's going on. That kind of experience will make you a great developer over the course of time, not just 50 videos or 20 videos, right? These videos are just to get you started, right? To give you confidence, to take you across that line, right? Where you can start doing stuff by yourself. That's all this video is all about, right? Whoever tells you, look, hey mate, I can make you a great developer by just watch. So all you have to do, watch 10 to 20 videos. So you're just making a fool out of yourself. That's all I'm telling you, right? Don't fall for such traps. Practice it, practice it, practice it, right? And try to understand the business scenario as well. Okay. All right, that's all. Enough of the rant today. So sorry about that. I just wanted to get it out because I think it's very important, right? Because my main mission, main purpose is to help you guys, right? Because there's, you can't understand one thing that, you have to understand one thing. A joy of helping someone is far greater than, making millions, right? Because if you're changing someone else's life in a better way, that's the best thing to do, in my opinion. That's my personal choice. So, all right. That being said, have a great day. Adios.